At the class reunion in the karaoke lounge. While I was in the restroom, my girlfriend was playing Truth or Dare with her old flame. I walked back in to see my girlfriend with her arm around him, shyly biting a slip of paper. "I have a boyfriend, she said. "Can we just kiss the paper and call the dare done?" A bunch of people started egging them on, whistling, clapping, and chanting, "Kiss! Kiss!" I walked over, snatched the paper away, pushed my girlfriend into his arms, and shoved a hotel key card at them. "Things are getting so heated," I said. "Why don't you two just take it to her room?" The moment I pressed the key card into her hand, the room went silent. A classmate quickly jumped in, trying to smooth things over with a laugh. "Hey, Ryan Johnson and Sarah are just messing around. Ethan, you aren't actually mad, are you?" Ryan Johnson, her old flame, smirked at me. "Yeah, Sarah and I are just really close. Maybe we got carried away. You're not really going to be petty about this, are you?" He glanced at the key card in Sarah Taylor's hand, then added suggestively, "I thought you and Sarah have been living together for 3 years. Why carry a hotel key card around? Unless it was meant for someone else." Sarah Taylor snapped back to reality, her face flushing with anger. She threw the key card at my face. "Ethan Smith, what the hell is this? Are you trying to humiliate me?" The key card clattered to the floor. I didn't pick it up. I managed to smile for the others. "Just kidding," I said. "You guys carry on." With that, I turned and walked out of the room. Behind me, I could hear Sarah Taylor yelling furiously, but I ignored her. She'd already forgotten that today was our 7th anniversary. And she certainly couldn't have guessed that the hotel room the key card opened was the one I'd spent the last month setting up for my marriage proposal. But it didn't matter now. Some people, I guess, you just can't hold on to, no matter what you do. I squeezed onto the subway and went home. To my surprise, the lights were on in our apartment. Sarah Taylor was actually back. She was sitting in the living room, a dark expression on her face, the air around her thick with tension. "Ethan Smith," she said. "Explain yourself." I glanced at her, silently took off my shoes and put on my slippers, then turned toward the bathroom. Sarah Taylor followed me. "I'm talking to you. Didn't you hear me?" Ignoring my silence, she yelled furiously. "The reunion is only once a year. Did you have to pick then to throw a fit? Ethan Smith, am I usually too easygoing? Is that why you think you can just humiliate me whenever you feel like it?" I splashed some water on my face, looking at her reflection in the mirror. Her makeup was flawless, paired with her most beautiful jewelry. None of it was for me. "Sarah Taylor," I said, my voice flat. "How did you get back here?" Sarah Taylor paused, taken aback by the question. She frowned. "I drove, of course. How else?" I stated plainly, "I took the subway. After we bought the car, I felt bad about Sarah Taylor's hour-long commute. So I helped her get her license so she could drive to work. Meanwhile, I spent 2 hours every day commuting by subway to the corporate office. But she took my consideration completely for granted. Even when the reunion ended, she completely forgot she had a boyfriend heading in the same direction, someone she could have easily given a ride. Drops of water I hadn't wiped away dripped from my face onto my shirt, leaving a damp spot. I ignored it and looked back at her. "When you're driving back, did it even cross your mind to wonder where I was?" Sarah Taylor looked guilty for a second, but then, as if remembering something, she became defiant. "You were the one who stormed out, Ethan Smith. Don't you dare try to pin this on me. Besides, it was just a game. Everyone was having fun. Why do you have to be so petty?" Back in the karaoke lounge, Ryan Johnson had said the same thing. "Ethan Smith, we're just really close. You're not going to be petty about this, are you?" I looked straight at her, speaking slowly and deliberately. "Do you even remember what day today is?" "Today," I said, "is our 7th anniversary." Sarah froze, looking even more guilty. "Well, why didn't you remind me then?" I asked her, "Is this really something you need a reminder for?" The first year we were together, Sarah spent 6 months planning, then dragged me to an amusement park where we made wishes under the fireworks. "I want to be happy with Ethan forever." Back then, she said it was the happiest day of her life, one she'd never forget. Me too. People talk about the 7-year itch, and I figured maybe we'd just been together too long, that she'd lost that initial spark for me. But isn't love about sticking together, supporting each other through thick and thin, even after the initial excitement fades? So even though we've been fighting constantly for the past 6 months, I still got the ring ready and planned the proposal spot. Because breaking up was never an option in my mind. "Sarah, you got up early to get styled, went to 8 different stores at the mall to find the perfect dress. Was even 1 minute of today about preparing for our anniversary?" Sarah was speechless, her voice turning sheepish. "Haven't I just been swamped with work lately? I forgot, okay? If it wasn't for Ryan Johnson, I would have completely forgotten about the class reunion today, too." I cut her off. Ryan Johnson again. I always knew she had this guy she idolized, the one that got away, the one she'd crushed on since high school. She even picked her university just to follow him. Early in freshman year, Ryan Johnson started dating the most popular girl in their department. It poured rain that day. Sarah got completely soaked, so I gave her my umbrella and ran back to my dorm through the downpour. Later, after we started dating, Ryan Johnson would pop up fairly often, always supposedly just as a friend. Being a guy, naturally I got jealous. At first, Sarah would try to soothe my feelings, but as time went on, she grew impatient. He's just a friend. Can't you act like a grown man and stop being so possessive? After graduation, everyone went their separate ways, and Sarah and I moved in together. Just when I thought our life together was on solid ground, 6 months ago, Ryan Johnson got transferred to our city. Ever since, he's been a constant presence. He was the fuse for almost every argument we had. They were just friends. I was the petty one. I looked at her and sighed. You were hugging him, holding paper in your mouth for him to kiss, and then you tell me you're just friends? I asked, Sarah, do I look like a complete idiot to you? Sarah couldn't refute a single word, but she flushed with anger and embarrassment. So, after everything, you still think there's something going on between us? She demanded, glaring at me, her eyes red. Ethan Smith, think about it. If there really was something between us, do you think you would have even had a chance with me? I just looked at her, saying nothing. This was the woman I loved most, twisting the sharpest knife into my heart. Then why aren't you two together, Sarah? I finally asked. Was it because you didn't want to be? My question caught Sarah off guard. Shame, anger, and panic flickered across her face before settling into choked fury. When it comes down to it, you just think tonight's little joke went too far, and now your precious pride is hurt, isn't it? She scoffed, her voice thick with defensiveness, trying to mask something else. Pride. Is there anything in that head of yours besides your ego? Do you even still have me in your heart? Tears started streaming down her face as she pulled the hotel key card from her purse, turning the accusation back on me. Besides, I haven't even asked you yet. Why were you carrying a hotel key card, claiming it was for our anniversary? You just had those nasty intentions all along, didn't you? Going out of your way to get a room. How disgusting can you be? You're vile. Seeing her like this, she suddenly seemed like a stranger. Was this really the woman I'd share my life with for 7 years? Or had I never really seen her clearly? Fine, I'm disgusting, I said flatly, snatching the key card and tossing on a bathroom counter. You're Mr. Johnson isn't disgusting, right? Go find him. Mr. Johnson. That's what she had saved Ryan Johnson as in her phone. And his name for her? Ms. Taylor. Just friends, they said, but the intimacy implied was a knife to the gut. My words pushed Sarah over the edge. She pointed a trembling finger at me, speechless with rage for what felt like an eternity, before tears of fury finally spilled over. Ethan Smith, you're shameless. She grabbed her purse and stormed out, slamming the front door with a deafening crash. Moments later, the sound of a car engine starting drifted up from downstairs. I stood rooted to the spot for a long time before finally, slowly, making my way back to the living room. In the refrigerator sat a cake. It had 2 little cartoon figures drawn on top, alongside a big smiley face and the words, Happy 7th Anniversary. I made the cake myself. Sarah left early this morning. While she was out shopping for clothes and shoes, I was at the cake decorating shop, filled with anticipation for tonight. When she called and asked me to meet her at the alumni gathering, I thought, asterisk no problem, we'll just celebrate a little later. Asterisk. The plan was, after the party, I'd take her to the hotel, propose, and then we'd come home to eat the cake together. But now, that cheerful smiley face seemed to mock me, turning me into the joke. I slumped onto the sofa, the cake smile feeling like pure sarcasm. I just stared at it, at the 2 little figures, until the frosting started to get soft and weep. That's when a text from Sarah came through. Just a few words. I'm at the downtown bar. Come get me. I splashed some water on my face and decided to take a cab to downtown bar anyway. Even if she were just a friend, it's not safe for a girl to be at downtown bar late at night, especially my girlfriend. But I wasn't prepared for what I saw when I got to downtown bar. Sarah Taylor was sobbing, plastered against some guy, her arms wrapped tight around his neck. That man was Ryan Johnson. Ryan Johnson saw me first and stared right at me, a mocking smile playing on his lips as he stroked Sarah Taylor's back, his hand drifting lower. Sarah, he said, your boyfriend's here. The downtown bar was buzzing with noise, but all I could hear was the blood rushing in my ears, my heart pounding like a drum. I stormed over, grabbed Sarah Taylor, and yanked her away from him, then swung and landed a punch right on Ryan Johnson's face. Ryan Johnson staggered back from the punch. I grabbed him by the collar, teeth clenched, and snarled. Where the hell do you think you're touching? Before Ryan Johnson could even answer, Sarah Taylor grabbed my arm, yelling, "Let go." I loosened my grip, and she immediately moved to shield Ryan Johnson, turning on me. "Ethan Smith, are you crazy? Who do you think you are hitting him like that?" Ryan Johnson, now shielded by her, smirked at me, then spoke softly to Sarah. "Sarah, don't be mad. Your boyfriend probably just misunderstood." His smile widened, and he turned to me, all innocence. Sarah got up to get something and slipped, falling right into my arms. "I was just helping her up, man. We're just friends, you know? Nothing's going on. You're misunderstanding things." Teeth clenched, temples throbbing, I ignored Ryan Johnson and asked Sarah Taylor slowly, deliberately, "You call me down here just to show me this? To see you draped all over another guy and then jumped his defense?" Tears still wet on her face, Sarah Taylor slapped me hard. "Ethan Smith, are you even listening to me? I told you we're just friends. If you hadn't made me so mad tonight, would I even be here at Downtown Bar?" Some creep was harassing me, and if it weren't for Ryan Johnson, I wouldn't even be standing here right now. She challenged me. "You're supposed to be my boyfriend. Where were you when I was getting harassed?" I hadn't realized she'd been in trouble. Instinctively, I started to explain traffic was a nightmare, but I stopped myself mid-sentence. "Why are you even at Downtown Bar?" Sarah Taylor almost never came to Downtown Bar. Once when I came here with some buddies, she found out and blew up. She said only players came to places like this, and that me being at Downtown Bar was practically cheating on her. After that, I hadn't set foot in Downtown Bar again. Sarah Taylor's crying hitched, and I could see a flicker of panic in her eyes. Ryan Johnson jumped in. Smoothly, "Sarah called me earlier, totally broken down, said you guys had a fight. I happened to be here, so I told her to come on over." Sarah Taylor immediately straightened up, putting on a brave face. "Yeah, exactly. Isn't this all your fault, making me look like an idiot? When I stormed out, you didn't even try to stop me." She'd been drinking. I could smell the alcohol on her breath, and her eyes were a little glazed. But she still held her ground. They say 7 years is the itch, and I never believed it before. If this were earlier in our relationship, you would never have treated me like this. In Sarah Taylor's world, it was all my fault. I didn't want to argue with a drunk girl. I just grabbed her hand. "Let's just go home." Sarah Taylor yanked her hand back. "Don't you even care about me? Don't you trust me? If you want to go home, go yourself. I'm not going back. That place isn't home anymore." She pushed Ryan Johnson back onto the couch, grabbing a bottle of liquor from the table. "Come on, Ryan Johnson. Let's drink till we drop tonight." Ryan Johnson sighed, a put-upon, yet fond sigh. "I just can't say no to you." Then he turned to me, all reasonable. "Why don't you just sit down and apologize to Sarah? As her boyfriend, you did kind of overreact." Sarah Taylor rounded on him, indignant. "Whose side are you on, anyway? Yours or mine? Who wants his apology? He shouldn't have even bothered showing up tonight." She pulled out her phone, tapped a few times, and shoved the screen in my face. "You want us to get a room together, right? Well, I booked one. We can go right now." She glared at me, a defiant look in her eyes. Usually, I'd cave before things escalated and try to smooth things over. But tonight, looking at her, I just said one word: "Fine." With that, I turned and walked out Downtown Bar. Sarah Taylor's angry voice followed me. "Ethan Smith, you made me do this." Her voice was choked with tears, and I could feel the stares of everyone around us. I hurried out of Downtown Bar. The worry I'd felt before coming, the anger that flared up when I got there, it all just dissolved into a feeling of helplessness. That night, Sarah Taylor didn't come home. I threw the cake I'd baked into the trash and went out to the balcony, where I smoked a whole pack of cigarettes. We'd been together for 7 years, through countless fights, big and small. I'd thought about breaking up before, but I could never bring myself to do it. Sarah Taylor was my first love. We'd had so many good times together. I always thought, she's a year younger than me. I should spoil her and cut her some slack. So even though we'd been fighting nonstop for the past 6 months, I'd still been planning to propose. Maybe getting married, making it official, would somehow fix everything. But what happened tonight? It was the final straw. "I think I'm done." Sarah got back in the morning. She hadn't changed her clothes and reeked of alcohol. When she saw me sitting on the sofa, she jumped, then looked a little panicked. "Ethan, you're up early." She was sober now, fully awake, and gave me an appeasing smile. I just grunted, looked at her, and made up my mind. "Sarah, we..." But before I could get the words "break up" out, she cut me off. "I slept at Emily's last night. I called her right after you left, look." Afraid I wouldn't believe her, she showed me her WhatsApp chat history and ride-sharing records on her phone, even a video of her at Emily Jou's place. It showed the two of them sitting on the floor, drinking. She crouched down on the floor, looking up at me. "I was really mad last night. and said some harsh things, but believe me, nothing happened with Ryan Johnson. Her tears came instantly, just like always. For the past 6 months, I'd always caved when she cried. Oh, I nodded, pulling away from her touch, and stood up to put my shoes on in the entryway. She followed me. Ethan, let's go out for dinner tonight after you get off work, okay? Make up for missing our anniversary yesterday. Her eyes were pleading, full of hope. I looked at her and shook my head. No, thanks. I have to work late tonight. I don't have time. I finished putting on my shoes, grabbed my bag and coat, and was about to leave when she called out again. Wait for me. She gave another appeasing smile. Let me just wash my face, and I'll drive you to work. She'd driven me a few times when she first got the car, but only a few. I felt bad. She'd have to wake up half an hour earlier for me. Eyes half closed from sleepiness, hugging me and whining about how hard it was. I couldn't bear to see her struggle, so I told her to just sleep in. Even though the subway was crowded early in the morning, knowing she could get a little more sleep made me feel content. At first, she'd call me her father figure boyfriend, showering me with compliments and sweet talk. Eventually, she just took it for granted. Sometimes, during extreme weather, if I asked her to detour slightly to pick me up, she'd refuse impatiently. You're a grown man. Why are you being so needy? The subway is safe. Be good. But now, she was offering to drive me. Of course, I knew why. Whenever she messed up, there was always this period where she'd be incredibly sweet and accommodating. It was her way of making amends. I used to soften up, but today it just left me cold. No need. I pushed the door open. I'll take the subway. When my boss called me in her office, I felt a little uneasy. The economy's been tough this year, and rumors of layoffs have been going around the corporate office. I tend to keep a low profile at work, not want to push myself forward or take big risks. During the last discussion about potential cuts, I had a feeling I might be one of the first to be let go. But I never expected that my boss wanted to see me about an overseas assignment. Ethan, you're reliable. Sending you there will put corporate office at ease. My boss, a decisive woman over 40, has always treated me well. She looked at me, smiling, and said, "You can't turn this one down this time." I started at corporate office as an intern and have been working here for over 4 years now. There were other overseas opportunities before, but I turned them all down for Sarah, because I felt that relationships require compromise, and if I were gone for months. Well, Sarah is timid, so I always put her first. This time, I was silent for a moment, then nodded firmly. I accept the assignment. My boss beamed at my compliance and told me to leave the day after tomorrow. They desperately need someone over there. Corporate office will handle your flights and accommodation. You'll be well taken care of. I thanked my boss and agreed. Back at my desk, I started arranging the handover of my current work. After work, I went home and packed my bags. Sarah wasn't back yet, but I saw she'd posted a picture of a pendulum clock on Instagram. The pendulum swinging back and forth, just like her mind. I glanced at it, put my phone down, and finished packing everything into my suitcases. Just as I finished, I heard the door open. Sarah was home. Seeing me, she looked surprised. "Aren't you working late? Why are you back so early?" Then she frowned and asked, "Are you trying to get out of celebrating our anniversary later? Is that why you lied?" "Ethan Smith, it's our 7th anniversary." Sarah always had a knack for turning her own mistakes into accusations against me. I ignored her and pushed my suitcases out. When she saw them, she panicked instantly and blocked my way. "What are you doing with those bags?" "Ethan, where are you going?" Her rapid-fire, aggressive questions left me no room to respond. I looked at her and told her the truth. Corporate office has arranged an overseas assignment for me. I'll be gone for 6 months. Without even thinking, Sarah said, "No, you can't go." I pushed her hand away, trying to stay calm. Things are tough right now, but after this assignment, I'll have a chance for rising through the ranks. So I have to go. Actually, I should have been promoted last year, but I gave the opportunity to someone else. Over the years, I've given up a lot for Sarah. But now, I'm not willing to compromise anymore. Sarah froze for a second, then asked, "Are you still angry about last night?" "I already told you, I stayed at Emily's place. Nothing happened with Ryan Johnson." Upset by my decision, she started to lose control. "Ethan, can't you stop being so selfish and stubborn?" I was trying to have a reasonable conversation, but she just thought I was angry. Feeling frustrated, I explained, "It's your choice what you do. I realize now I used to interfere too much. You're an adult. You can take responsibility for your own actions. You don't need me worrying about you, right?" Sarah froze again, tears falling, and asked me, "What do you mean?" I said, "This assignment is arranged by corporate office, and it's about me taking responsibility for the company and for myself. My flight is the day after tomorrow, but I didn't want to stay there any longer." I pushed my suitcases toward the door. As I reached it, I told her, "Sarah, let's both take these 6 months to cool off. 7 years together made it hard for me to be cruel enough to break up with her directly, but I thought 6 months would be enough time for things to cool down. If we couldn't be lovers anymore, at least we had been close. I didn't want to make things ugly. An amicable separation. But Sarah Taylor didn't want to calm down. After I left that day, she called me to confirm my decision again about taking the overseas assignment, then angrily hung up on me. Then she sent me a text. "Ethan Smith, you'll regret this." I looked at the message and replied with a single word. "Okay." And then we started giving each other the silent treatment. Or rather, she started giving me the silent treatment. The work at the overseas branch office was demanding, and I dove right in as soon as I arrived. During a rare, quiet moment, I realized we hadn't messaged each other in a week. In the 7 years we'd been dating, that had never happened. After all, I used to spend every spare moment texting Sarah. When we first got together, she told me, when the desire to share disappears, it's the signal that a relationship is ending. I took that to heart, so I'd share everything with her, what I ate, where I went, even little things like an animal I saw or a pretty flower. At first, our chat history scrolled endlessly, but later, it was mostly me sending a dozen messages just to get 3 or 4 half-hearted replies from her. This time, however, I was busy with work and we just naturally stopped talking. I sighed, a complicated feeling washing over me. After so long, loving her wasn't just bone deep, it was a deeply ingrained habit. I glanced at my phone and set it aside. Love might fade, but work wouldn't. But I didn't expect to get sick. The high-intensity work after arriving, combined with adjusting to the new environment, left me delirious with a high fever. It was a young woman from my team who noticed I looked unwell. She came over and asked, "Are you running a fever?" I hadn't realized it myself, just felt dizzy. I shook my head and thanked her. She gave me a concerned look and brought me a thermometer. A fever of 102.4. That settled it. Ignoring my protests, she took me straight to the nearby Metro General Hospital. My head was spinning. I tried to get up, but she gently pushed me back down, her tone firm. "You're the patient. Just lie still. I'll handle everything else." Watching her bustle around taking care of things, I felt a lump in my throat. Right after graduation, I had a bad case of gastroenteritis once. State General Hospital was packed. I called Sarah, but she sounded impatient. "You're a grown man. What's there to be so dramatic about?" Later, when I finally got settled with a drip, I saw her Instagram post. She was with Ryan Johnson at an amusement park, both wearing matching Mickey Mouse ears. The caption read, "Such a fun day." After that, whenever I got sick, I just dealt with it myself. A grown man should just tough it out, right? My colleague went to get my medication while I leaned back against the hospital bed, feeling a bit dazed. That's when my phone rang. It was Sarah Taylor. "Ethan, I'm in City A. I just landed at the airport. Come pick me up." I wasn't expecting Sarah to suddenly show up, but I opened a ride-hailing app anyway. "Have you booked a hotel? I can get you a ride there." Sarah whined. "I don't want to stay at a hotel. I'll just stay with you." Before she could finish, my colleague came back. "I picked up a hot drink for you," she said. "Have some, it'll warm you up." Sarah's voice turned sharp, even over the phone. "Who's that? Why is there a woman there with you?" Before I could explain, she jumped to conclusions. "Ethan, are you seeing someone else behind my back?" Her voice was so loud, it carried from the phone. I looked at my colleague, embarrassed. "Sorry about that. And thanks again for getting me the drink." My colleague shook her head, signaling it was okay. She put the medicine on the bedside table and offered me an out. "I'll step outside for a bit. Just give me a shout if you need anything." I thanked her. Sarah's voice was already accusatory. "So that's why you suddenly took that assignment. You've got someone else there, don't you? Where are you?" "I'm coming to find you right now." I cut her off. "I'm at Metro General Hospital. I have a fever." Sarah stopped short, sounding a little sheepish. "Oh, I misunderstood. I'll head over now, just wait for me." But it was 2 hours later when Sarah finally arrived at Metro General Hospital, and Ryan Johnson was with her. My colleague had already left. It didn't feel right asking a young woman like her to stay with me late at night. I had to promise her several times I wouldn't fall asleep and would leave as soon as my drip was done before she finally went home. My had finished half an hour ago. Looking at the two of them finally showing up late, maybe I'd just gotten used to being disappointed because all I felt was a sense of figures. The first thing Sarah asked when she arrived was, "Where's your colleague?" "She went home," I said. She glanced around before asking, "Why did you come to Metro General Hospital, anyway? And with some girl keeping you company?" She still didn't believe me, still suspected I was cheating. I looked at her, feeling weary. Maybe not all women think a guy being sick is just him being dramatic. My words threw what she'd once said back in her face. Sarah looked stung, her expression turning ugly for a moment before she smoothed it over. "You're sick. You should get some rest." Ryan chose that moment to chime in. I actually had some business nearby, so I just came along with Sarah. He looked at me and asked with a smile. Total coincidence this time. You don't mind, do you? Sarah backed him up. Yeah, we were heading this way anyway. And when he heard you were sick, he wanted to come see you. I just said, oh, I felt numb. Well, you've seen me. You can go now. Sarah's expression changed. I came here to be with you. Where are you staying? I'll get a ride. Let's go home. I shook my head. No, it's fine. You should get a hotel. It's not a good idea for us to stay together right now. It wouldn't be good for your reputation. Asterisk, we decided to give each other some space. Sleeping together now would just make people think Sarah didn't respect herself. Asterisk, but Sarah took it as rejection. Ethan, what's that supposed to mean? I rushed all the way over here just for you to humiliate me like this? She pouted, her eyes welling up. I already swallowed my pride for you. It was such a small thing. How long are you going to hold this grudge? Ryan chimed in again. Yeah, Ethan. That night at the reunion, we were just messing around. We didn't actually kiss. You didn't actually take that seriously, did you? He sighed. Besides, you punched me. My face was swollen for a week. I didn't make a big deal out of it. If you keep dwelling on this, it's not very manly, you know? Sarah, feeling she now had the moral high ground, pointed a finger at me. Ethan, don't be so petty. We're just friends. And Ryan's the one who got punched. He's not even upset about it. So why are you? I looked at them both, feeling sick to my stomach. Maybe I mind that you two are the kind of just friends who play games where you pass paper mouth to mouth. It's pretty disgusting. Things ended badly between us that day. Sarah had run overexcitedly, only to run off again, crying angrily. Ryan Johnson stood in front of me. With Sarah gone, he dropped the act, his voice dripping with contempt. Ethan, a great girl like Sarah is wasted on you. His eyes were full of disdain. I have no idea what she sees in you. You're not worthy of her in the slightest. Footsteps echoed outside the door. I caught a glimpse of Sarah just outside. He knew Sarah was outside too. He was deliberately trying to provoke me. I remained perfectly calm, looking at him with cold indifference in my eyes. Oh, then maybe you two should get together. Yeah, you two deserve each other. This time, Sarah really did storm off because of me. Standing outside the door, furious, she yelled at Ryan Johnson. Stop wasting your breath on him. Let's go. She was crying furiously. Ryan Johnson put on a timely show of concern. Why do you two have to do this? Sarah, slow down. Watch your step. The two of them left the hospital room, one after the other. I sat on the edge of the bed, a mocking smile on my lips, but my eyes slowly started to redden. Even though it felt like carving out my own heart, I had to cut this toxic piece away. Goodbye, Sarah. After that, we went back to giving each other the silent treatment. My assignment at the corporate office went smoothly, but it kept me incredibly busy. I didn't have time to deal with her, and honestly, my life felt like it was running smoother because of it. At first, Sarah was furious. Her Instagram was filled with pictures of her and Ryan Johnson, arms around each other, looking like a couple head over heels in love. I just pretended not to see it. In fact, most of the time, I didn't see it. During those 6 months, I worked practically nonstop. The most direct result was that I did exceptionally well at my job. Before leaving City A, my colleagues threw me a farewell party, and my boss had already paved the way for my return. Once I got back, I'd be moving to a new position, another step up. I thanked my boss, had a few drinks, and got back to my dorm tipsy that evening when I received a WhatsApp call from Sarah. I answered, but didn't say anything for a long moment. It was quiet on her end, too. 6 months had passed. She knew I was due back. Finally, she was the one who spoke first. Ethan, have you had enough of this? Her voice was thick with tears. She offered, let's just say I was wrong, okay? 6 months should be enough punishment, right? Sarah was giving me a way out, but I wasn't taking it. I'm coming home tomorrow. Before she could respond, I continued. I'll be home around 5 p.m. We need to talk. Breaking up is something you have to do face to face. When I got home from the airport, the apartment was an absolute mess. Sarah Taylor never tidied up. Usually, I was the one cleaning up after her while her only job was to be cute and charming. Back then, I figured it's the new century. Why stick to those old ideas about men working and women staying home? If Sarah Taylor was happy, I was happy to take care of things for her. But my tolerance just made her push things further and further. Looking at the apartment, with nowhere to even step, I put on a mask, opened all the windows for ventilation, and called housekeeping services. I had decorated this place piece by piece myself, pouring my heart and soul into everything, from the tables and chairs to the sofa and the dining room knickknacks. I remembered her hugging me back then, saying, "We finally have a place of our own. Even if it's rented, it doesn't matter. As long as I'm with you, I'm happy living anywhere." But later, she was the one accusing me. It's been 3 years since graduation, and you still can't even afford to buy a house? How dare you talk to me about marriage? Do you want our kids to grow up in a rented apartment? I finally saved up enough money, found a house we liked, and bought a ring, but we would never walk down the aisle together, not in this lifetime. I sat in the living room until evening. Sarah Taylor didn't come back. I called her, and she sounded hesitant. I'm working late, gonna be back really late. I ordered some takeout for you. Why don't you eat something first, okay? The doorbell rang. It was indeed the takeout. There was a note on the receipt, specifically requesting no parsley. Sarah Taylor loves parsley. I can't stand even a bite of it. But whenever we went out, she never remembered, leaving me to pick it out while she'd get annoyed. Next time I'll starve you for 3 days, then cook you a whole bowl of parsley and see if you eat it then. She never actually did that, but at her birthday party once, her group of friends forced me to eat half a bowl of it, saying if I didn't, it meant I didn't love her. All she said then was, "You love me the most, honey. Just take a bite, okay? Do it for me." I ate the parsley that time and threw up 3 times when I got back home. I thanked the delivery guy and brought the food container inside, but I couldn't stomach a single bite. She always knew exactly what she was doing. It was just about showing how special she was. But now, trying to win someone over, she'd suddenly respect my preferences. It didn't matter anymore, though. I didn't need it. The food eventually got cold. Sarah Taylor never came home. I went to bed first. I had work the next day. In the morning, I was woken up by noises from the kitchen. Sarah Taylor had come back at some point and was cooking. Seeing me, she smiled brightly. "Good morning, honey. Breakfast is ready." This was the scene I had dreamed of countless times, even though, in reality, I was always the one getting up early to make breakfast. Because she used to say, a good woman never sets foot in the kitchen. She brought out sandwiches, chattering as she came. My boss is such a beast, kept us working past 1 a.m. I had to set 3 alarms just to get up and make you breakfast. Quick, try it, see if it's good. I pressed my lips together. No thanks. You eat it. Sarah Taylor's eyes reddened slightly. She came over and took my hand. I know I was wrong. Please forgive me just this once, okay? You know I love you the most. She tried to lean in and kiss me, but I pulled away. Sarah Taylor, Before I could finish, she shut me up with a sandwich, shoving it into my mouth. Isn't it delicious? I practiced for a long time, just to surprise you. Sarah Taylor looked at me, taking advantage of my inability to speak, her eyes filled with affection. Let's make things work, okay? I swear I'll never be difficult like that again, all right? I swallowed the bite of sandwich and pushed her hand away. Sarah Taylor, let's break up. That day, Sarah Taylor was sobbing uncontrollably, gasping between breaths as she finally confronted me. Besides that one joke, how could I have possibly wronged you? 7 years. We were together for 7 years, and you just say you want to break up? Just like that? Ethan Smith, I don't accept this. But whether she accepted it or not didn't matter to me. I thought these past 6 months would have been enough time for us to cool down. She reached for my hand, but I pulled away. My voice was calm. You told me back then you wanted a boyfriend who was like a father figure. And I always felt, because you were younger, that I needed to coddle you, let you have your way. But Sarah, even parents can't unconditionally put up with everything forever. Besides, we're supposed to be equals. In these 7 years, my conscience is clear when it comes to you, Sarah Taylor. Even breaking up like this, I try my best to minimize the pain I caused you. But Sarah Taylor clearly didn't see it that way. Are you serious? She asked, her eyes welling up. I nodded. I am. Let's just end it here. I hope you have a good future. Housekeeping had just cleaned. The windows were gleaming, the apartment spotless, just like the day we first moved in. Except back then, I was full of hope for our future together. Now, I knew with certainty that we didn't have one anymore. I'm leaving now. Take care of yourself. She hadn't come home last night, so I'd already packed and moved almost everything out. All that was left was this one suitcase. I left her the valuables from the apartment and our joint bank cards. 7 years of her youth. Even ending things like this, I didn't want her to walk away feeling cheated. It seemed only then that Sarah Taylor finally realized how determined I was. Ethan Smith, you can't go. She threw herself in front of me, trying to wrap her arms around my waist. I was wrong. I really know I was wrong now. Please, can we not break up? Please. I pushed her away firmly, my tone final. Sarah Taylor, adults need to maintain some dignity. I'm respecting you. So please, respect yourself too. Okay. The words hit hard. So hard she just stood there, completely stunned. It wasn't until I'd pushed my suitcase out the door and was waiting for the elevator that I heard the sobs erupt from inside the apartment. Gut-wrenching, heartbroken cries. My new place is really close to the corporate office. Only a 20-minute commute in the morning. The only downside is that it's small and expensive, but I'm happy with it. Without Sarah Taylor in my life, I manage my time much better. Rising through the ranks means I'm more financially comfortable now, too. Outside of work, I spend all my spare time studying for certifications. Improving myself is the only way I'll last long-term at the corporate office. But Sarah Taylor wouldn't give up. Out of decency, I hadn't deleted her number on WhatsApp, so she started messaging me daily. Pictures of her meals, random interesting things she saw on the street. She'd always end with something like, "The world is so beautiful when you really look at it. Can we get dinner together again?" I always refused. Sarah Taylor didn't give up. She even showed up downstairs in my corporate office. I got off work early. "How about I give you a ride home?" It was rush hour, and plenty of colleagues were watching. I felt helpless. "Sarah Taylor, we broke up. Please have some self-respect." A woman needs to have some self-respect. I tried to give her a dignified way out, but she had to take it. I'd never spoken harshly to her before, so my current attitude clearly hurt her. Couples fight and say they're breaking up all the time. Who actually means it the first time? She grabbed my hand, tears streaming down her face. "I know I messed up. Can't you just give me one more chance?" I shook my head. No, I'd already given her too many chances. That night at the class reunion was the absolute last straw. I had fantasized about using marriage to keep her, but reality shattered that illusion. I knew right then that we were completely finished. Even though she'd been trying so hard lately, acting the way I used it toward her to win me back, I couldn't bring myself to soften. "Sarah, isn't this the freedom you always wanted? Go live your life." I looked at her, my voice soft but every word designed to cut deep. "Leave me alone." Sarah Taylor completely lost it. "Why?" She glared at me as if I were the one betraying her. "You promised. You said you'd be with me forever, no matter what I did. And now you just suddenly break up with me." She paused, realization dawning. "Tell me, is there someone else?" Sarah Taylor became hysterical, demanding, "Was it that colleague from Metro General Hospital? Or your boss, the one who's 40 and still single?" "Sarah Taylor." I tried to cut her off. A colleague walked over. "Everything okay, Ethan?" I said it was nothing, but Sarah Taylor jumped in before I could. "Ethan Smith is cheating on me. Do you people know who his mistress is?" Her outburst drew several more colleagues over. Even my boss, hearing the commotion, clicked over in her heels. My boss looked at me, searching my face. "What's going on here, Ethan? Is there some kind of misunderstanding?" Seeing my boss only made Sarah Taylor angrier. "He wants to break up with me. Is it because of you?" She grabbed my arm, accusing me through her tears. "We've been together for 7 years. He's all I have. Please, I'm begging you, don't steal him from me." Her tears started flowing instantly, causing a commotion around us. My face burned with embarrassment. I first apologized to my manager. "I'm so sorry, Ms. Zhao, for causing trouble. Please don't pay any attention to what she's saying." Then I turned to Sarah Taylor. "For these past 7 years, I have nothing to feel guilty about regarding our relationship, and I have no regrets about breaking up with you. Sarah Taylor, you used to hate it when people slung mud like this back in school. How could you stoop so low yourself now?" Sarah Taylor was taken aback by my words. I looked at her, exhausted. "Stop making a scene. Don't you care about your reputation more than anything? Do you really have to drag us both through the mud today? Can't we just leave each other with a little dignity?" She stared at me blankly, then started crying again. "I want my dignity too, but you're breaking up with me. Why would you abandon me unless there was someone else?" Sarah Taylor sobbed, struggling to catch her breath. "We've been together for 7 years, she choked out. I nodded. 7 years. I do care about you, which is why it's better to cut our losses now than to end up hating each other. You can find your freedom, and I need my peace. I was already worn out by this relationship. From start to finish, my breaking up with you has nothing to do with anyone else. The problem is between us, just you and me." I looked at her and urged, "Just go. I'm willing to let what happened today go." Even though Sarah Taylor was trying to slander me, the people at the corporate office were well aware of the character of my colleagues, my manager, and myself, so I didn't need to go to great lengths to clear my name. Everyone knew she was making an unreasonable scene, and I wanted to let her keep some shred of dignity. Sarah Taylor stopped crying mid-sob and asked, "Is it because of Ryan Johnson?" She pleaded, almost swearing an oath, "I can delete his WhatsApp contact right now, and I'll never talk to him again. I know work is hard for you, so I'll drive you to and from work from now on. And I'll never ignore your messages again. I'll remember everything you like. Ethan, please give me one more chance, okay?" She grew more frantic as she spoke, promising, "I know I made a lot of mistakes in the past, but I'll fix them all. Let's start over." I looked at her and asked, "So you see, you actually knew all along what you were doing wrong, didn't you?" Sarah Taylor froze. I continued slowly. "You knew it would make me unhappy, but you did it anyway. It was simply because the scales in your heart tipped. Back then, you felt Ryan Johnson was important, so my unhappiness could be ignored. And now, The scales have tipped towards me. You think I'm important now, but I don't need it anymore. Sarah Taylor, you can't mend a broken mirror. Let's just end it here. That day, Sarah left, completely devastated. The rumors didn't really bother me. In fact, my colleagues came over to comfort me, saying things like, "We know what kind of person you are. Don't take it to heart." Some even invited me out for dinner after work. The atmosphere at the corporate office was great. I also heard from my colleagues that not only had the company weathered the recent crisis without needing layoffs, but business was actually booming. This meant our future there was only looking brighter. The days that followed went smoothly for me. My only headache was Sarah. After a brief period of moping, she started trying to get in touch with me again. This time, though, she didn't approach me directly. Instead, there'd be a bouquet of flowers on my desk every morning, sandwiches tailored to my taste at lunch, and a constant barrage of WhatsApp messages from Sarah. She'd share bits of her life, carefully trying to win me back. Even my colleagues found out and started advising me. If you really feel bad for her, just get back together. Every couple fights. It's been 7 years. How many 7 years do you get in life? You can't just throw it all away, right? Since I've been pouring all my energy into the corporate office, not only was my work performance better, but my relationships with my colleagues had improved too. They urged me on, seeing me as the man in the situation. You're a grown man. Holding a grudge against a young woman just doesn't look good. Besides, I can see she still has deep feelings for you. She was crying her eyes out last time, looked so pitiful. I just shook my head, not wanting to discuss it further. Seeing my expression, my colleague gave an awkward laugh. Of course, it's just a suggestion. It's your life. Interestingly, the young woman who had taken me to Metro General Hospital heard about it and sent me a message. A person is, first and foremost, themselves. So we have to love ourselves first. I looked at the message and couldn't help but smile, replying, "Lesson learned. Thanks." A broken mirror can't be made whole again, and I wasn't turning back. I Venmo'd Sarah money for the flowers and food, then sent her one last message. Out of respect for the years we had, please stop making trouble for me. Just like she knew exactly what to say to hurt me, I knew what words would cause her pain. Sarah called me over 30 times that day, but I didn't answer a single one. After that, her Instagram was mostly filled with posts of drunken nights out, her life becoming a mess. I, on the other hand, got busy, too busy even for Instagram. Occasionally, scrolling through updates from colleagues, I'd see posts about her. Sarah had changed. She became a regular at the downtown bars, lost in a haze of alcohol. It seemed she had become the very kind of person she always despised. The next time I saw Sarah Taylor was at the new product launch event. As one of the managers, I was busy at the exhibition hall with my colleagues. It wasn't until I got there that I saw Sarah Taylor was also present. She had come looking for me. She'd even switched jobs just to be closer to me. I hadn't seen her in a while, and her hair had grown longer. When I first met her, she had long, waist-length hair, soft and captivating. But later, after Ryan Johnson mentioned he thought short hair on girls looked sharp and cool, she cut off her long hair without hesitation and hadn't changed her style for 6 months since. Now, she had grown it out again, down to her shoulders, and her clothing style had changed too. She was trying hard to resemble the version of herself that had initially captured my heart. Seeing her like this, I froze for a moment. She flashed a youthful smile. "Looking forward to working with you on this." Unfortunately, too much time had passed. We knew each other too well, and her deliberate act seemed clumsy and obvious to me. I pressed my lips together, turned, and called a colleague over. I have some other things to take care of. Could you coordinate with her? Disappointment flickered in Sarah Taylor's eyes, but she forced a smile and greeted my colleague. "Hi, I'm Sarah Taylor. Thanks for your help." With her perfectly measured modesty and diligent work ethic, she quickly got along well with my colleagues. Sarah Taylor had been like this back in school, too. She was like a little sun, bright, cheerful, decisive. Back then, I loved her dazzling radiance, never imagining that one day it would burn me. Now, she was cautiously holding back, approaching me as if all her sharp thorns had been pulled out. But seeing her like this just made me feel a bit sad. "You don't have to be like this," I told her seriously after work that evening. "Even though we broke up, I still remember all the good things about you. You don't need to compromise yourself like this." Because I was older, I had always doted on her during our years together. I wanted my partner to be a princess, and I could be her knight, clearing obstacles in her path. Even after we separated, I sincerely wished her well. A flicker of hurt crossed Sarah Taylor's eyes. "So," she asked, "if I compromise like this, would you be willing to take me back?" I stated firmly, "No, you're not a child anymore. Adults have to take responsibility for their own decisions. All these years, I thought of you as young, but you're only a year younger than me." Sarah Taylor, You can choose not to grow up, but at the very least, you need to learn right from wrong and be a decent person. Not use your emotional leverage to hurt the person who loves you. These are things your family should have taught you, not me. Even though you said you wanted a father figure boyfriend, we're still equals, right? I spoke to her calmly, trying to make things clear. This time, Sarah Taylor didn't cry. She looked at me, utterly devastated, her eyes red-rimmed as she finally said, "Ethan Smith, you're really heartless." Sarah Taylor still doesn't understand me. I'm not heartless. I've just had enough disappointment piled up. All the love has been completely worn away. When you've practically given half your life for something, you tend to wake up. She turned to leave. I sighed, gathered my bag, and headed for the exit too. But just as I reached the door, I heard a crowd making a commotion. Someone was shouting, "Say yes. Say yes." I was talking to some colleagues and glanced over. A man and a woman were surrounded by the crowd. The woman was Sarah Taylor. The man was Ryan Johnson. I looked away and turned to leave again, but then I heard Ryan Johnson's loud declaration of love. "Sarah, we missed out on so many years, but now we can finally be together. Be my girlfriend. Let me take care of you forever." Their display of affection moved the onlookers, just like that night in the karaoke lounge room. The difference was, that night the chant was kiss her, while today this crowd was shouting, "Say yes. Say yes." I felt completely unmoved, but Sarah Taylor rejected him, her tone impatient. "Ryan Johnson, stop messing around. I only think of you as a friend." Seeing me about to leave, she quickly pushed through the crowd and blocked my path. "Ethan, don't misunderstand. I don't like him. You know I don't. I only love you." All those curious eyes turned back to me. Their stares made me uncomfortable. I pushed her hand away. "Sarah Taylor, I thought I made myself perfectly clear just now." I glanced at Ryan Johnson standing nearby, then said to Sarah Taylor, "Besides, isn't this what you always wanted?" If Ryan Johnson had said yes to Sarah Taylor back then, I wouldn't even be in this picture. I was throwing Sarah Taylor's own past words back at her. She froze, stunned by what I said, then hastily tried to explain, "No, I don't love him." She looked at me, her eyes brimming with tears. "I was too young back then. I mistook it for love. But after you broke up with me, I realized it was just admiration for him. That wasn't love at all. What I have with you, that's love. I don't admire him anymore, but I'll always love you, Ethan Smith." Her expression was pleading as she tried to prove her loyalty to me. But Ryan Johnson wasn't having it. He rushed over, glaring at me. "Ethan Smith, you two broke up. Why won't you leave her alone?" Ryan Johnson stood protectively in front of Sarah Taylor, his eyes full of affection as he looked at her. "It's all your fault we missed so many years, Sarah and I. Just let her go. Do you have any idea how much she's suffered because of you? She's finally starting to move on, and I want to take care of her. Can't you just stop bothering her?" The way he put it made me sound like the bad guy. I nodded. "Fine, Sarah Taylor. You two have a good life together. I won't bother you, and you don't bother me. How about that?" Looking at her, I said, "I'll step aside for you two." But Sarah Taylor threw the roses right at Ryan Johnson. The man she once idolized, she can now discard like garbage. "Ryan Johnson, haven't you caused enough trouble? It's impossible between us. I just see you as a friend." Seeing I was about to leave, she panicked. "Ethan, don't listen to his nonsense. There's really nothing going on between us. I told you I'd change. Please believe me, okay?" But I pushed her hand away. "And you, Sarah Taylor? Haven't you had enough? After all this time, I was just exhausted. No matter who I'm with in the future, it will never be you. Because I don't love you anymore." I looked at her and said, harshly for the first time, "It's not just that I don't love you anymore. I can't stand you. Sarah Taylor, I'm sick of you." Sarah Taylor stood frozen, looking completely lost. I walked around her and headed for the subway. Behind me, I heard Ryan Johnson roar in disbelief, asking her, "Didn't you always love me? Sarah, we had a deal. Weren't we supposed to be together?" Sarah Taylor argued with him, trying unsuccessfully to pull away. I didn't want any part of their messy love-hate drama. As I got further away, the sounds faded. My colleague looked at me, concerned. "Are you okay?" I shook my head and forced a smile. "Thanks, I'm fine." After words that harsh, Sarah Taylor shouldn't bother me anymore. But I never expected to get a call from the police station later that night. I was already getting ready for bed. My phone showed over a dozen missed calls, all from Sarah Taylor. I put my phone down, ignoring them, but then an unfamiliar landline number called. "Hello, is this Mr. Ethan Smith?" I confirmed it was, and the voice on the other end said, "We're calling from the local police station. Do you know a Ms. Sarah Taylor?" I had a bad feeling. "Yes, I know her. What's wrong? What happened to her?" "She's been raped. She's at the station now. If you're available, could you come down to the station?" After hanging up, I quickly changed and hurried to the police station. Sarah Taylor was sobbing uncontrollably, having just finished giving her statement. She was huddled in a chair, her eyes swollen like walnuts. The man who raped her was Ryan Johnson. Sarah sobbed as she told me the whole story at the police station. What happened earlier that evening had left her devastated, so she went to a downtown bar to drink her sorrows away, only to be followed by Ryan Johnson. Ryan Johnson got her drunk, took her to a hotel, and they ended up having sex. Ethan, please believe me. He raped me. You're the only one I care about now, but I feel dirty. Are you disgusted with me now? She cried miserably. I told her, whether you're clean or not isn't about your body. It's about your spirit. A woman's purity isn't physical. Her good qualities, her resilience and drive. That's what truly matters. But Sarah only focused on the implication. So, you'll still be with me? I knew she needed comfort right then. But a painful truth is better than a sweet lie. We're not going to be together. It has nothing to do with what happened tonight. It's about your past actions. She hadn't expected me to refuse even a comforting word and broke down completely, crying, "See, you are disgusted with me." I couldn't get through to her. When an officer came out, I spoke with him about the situation. Ryan Johnson denied the accusation, claiming it was consensual. He even yelled for them to check. She even had me buy condoms. Sarah, who had been crying, heard Ryan Johnson and rushed back in, shouting at him, "You raped me. Don't you dare try to slander me." They started arguing again right there in the police station until an officer stopped them. "What do you think this place is? Both of you quiet down." I confirmed the current situation with the police, relieved to hear Sarah wasn't physically injured. I turned and handed her a business card. "This is a lawyer's number. Contact him if you need anything else. He's very reliable. If you don't have enough money for legal fees." I thought for a moment, then told her, "I can help it." A woman in this situation is already vulnerable. I didn't want to make things worse for her. Sarah's eyes were red from crying. She reached out to grab my sleeve. "Ethan, can you please stay with me?" I moved aside so she couldn't touch me. "Sorry, I can't." Sarah Taylor ultimately chose to drop the case and didn't press charges against Ryan Johnson. Of course, that business card I gave her became useless. Apparently, not long after that, Sarah Taylor got together with Ryan Johnson and moved in with him. A mutual friend told me about it. "I don't know what those two were thinking," he said. Always going on about him being some kind of father figure boyfriend, her supposed soulmate. Now that they're actually together, it's a complete disaster. I wasn't interested in any of this, so I told him, "Stop gossiping. It's their life." My friend asked, "Aren't you angry?" I retorted, "Why would I be?" My friend sounded indignant over the phone. "You two were together for 7 years, 7 whole years. If Ryan Johnson hadn't interfered, you two might have had kids by now, right? And look at them now. Sarah Taylor must have been blind to choose Ryan Johnson over you. And now they're even worse off together." That night, it wasn't actually rape. Sarah Taylor was drunk, but she went to the hotel with him willingly. She even remembered to tell him to buy condoms. But when she sobered up, Sarah Taylor regretted it. Afraid I'd be angry if I found out, she called the police and lied, claiming Ryan Johnson had raped her. Even though she later dropped the charges, the damage between them was already done. Sarah Taylor had probably given up on love, figuring it didn't matter who she was with. Ryan Johnson, however, was driven by revenge. He hated Sarah Taylor for not appreciating a supposedly great guy like him, and he was jealous that she still had feelings for me. They basically turned each other into bitter partners locked in a miserable relationship. My friend continued, "Hey, if you ask me, it's good you two broke up. I always thought that girl, Sarah Taylor, was too calculating, not a good match for you. Look, since the breakup, your life's been getting better and better, right?" It was true. Without the emotional drama, my career was taking off like I was rapidly rising through the ranks. Just the other day, my boss told me she was being transferred to headquarters, and as her trusted subordinate, I would be taking over her position. This meant I was getting another promotion. "Let the past be the past," I told my friend. After a pause, I added, "And stop gloating. We were all friends once, after all. Besides, some people just aren't worth our emotional energy. Resentment, bitterness, hatred, they're all negative emotions. Letting those feelings rule your life is what brings bad luck." Luckily, I moved past all that now. My friend chuckled teasingly. "You really have let it go, haven't you?" I just smiled and didn't say anything, because I really had put the past behind me. The past had faded like smoke. They weren't worth dwelling on anymore. Before I knew it, the end of the year arrived, and I'd gotten a promotion. It happened to be right around the New Year's Eve celebration, and my coworkers were teasing me, insisting I treat them to dinner. I laughed and agreed, letting them pick the spot. A big group of us headed out together. During dinner, I got a call from Sarah Taylor. She was crying. That lawyer's business card you had last time, she sobbed. Could you send it to me again? I said sure, took a picture of the card, and texted it to her. She thanked me, then asked, aren't you even going to ask me what happened? That's something your boyfriend should be concerned about, Sarah, I replied. We're basically strangers now. But Sarah insisted on telling me anyway. We got into a fight, and he went off to the downtown bar to drink. He ended up getting into it with someone, beat the guy so badly he's in Metro General Hospital. She explained how he'd smashed a bottle over the guy, completely ruining his face. But Ryan Johnson hadn't gotten off easy either. He'd been kicked hard in the groin. Now both of them were at Metro General Hospital. By the time Sarah rushed over, it was just chaos. Both sides had called the police, and the bar surveillance footage had been pulled. The outcome was still unclear. Sarah was terrified, weeping into the phone. I don't know. I really don't know how my life ended up like this. This time last year, you were with me for the New Year's Eve celebration, and I felt like the happiest person in the world. But this year, my life has just hit rock bottom. Listening to her, I silently disagreed. Asterisk no. Last year, her happiness wasn't because of me. Asterisk that New Year's Eve, she'd gone with Ryan Johnson to the amusement park, leaving me waiting at the restaurant for 4 hours. Everywhere was lit up, celebrating the new year, while I sat there and saw my girlfriend update her Instagram. She was holding someone's hand, the caption reading, Happy New Year to the best person. Well, now she had her wish. The person she thought was the best belonged to her. Sorry, was there anything else? I interrupted her calmly. I'm kind of busy right now. Inside the restaurant, the laughter and cheerful voices continued. This year, I didn't have love, but I had friendship and my career. Good relationships, whatever kind they were, deserved my full attention. Sarah paused, then said awkwardly, Oh, okay. But just before I hung up, she called out Ethan Smith. I regret it so much. She asked, her voice trembling, if, and I mean if, I was willing to change. Could we go back to how things were? The wind seemed to howl through the phone line with her timid plea, and the past came flooding back, a landslide collapsing into ruins that had almost buried me alive back then. But from those ruins, something new had grown just for me. I had climbed out bit by bit. I had fought for and won my own future. Sorry, I told her firmly. No, all the sorrow, misfortune, and hardship of the past had become stepping stones toward my future. I wouldn't drown in yesterday. I had a better future to embrace. She broke down, crying hysterically on the phone. I waited quietly until she finished. When she finally calmed down, her voice hoarse, she said, I'm going to call the lawyer now. I won't bother you anymore. There was exhaustion and guilt in her tear-roughened voice. I'm sorry for everything in the past. Ethan Smith, I hope everything goes well for you. I replied politely, Thanks. You too. She hung up. It was cold outside, but inside the restaurant, my colleagues were waving me over. It was warm in there, every face smiling kindly. I put my phone away, pushed the door open, and walked back in. The warmth and cheerful energy of the crowd enveloped me, full of goodwill. It felt like spring. The future looked bright.